Well, how much do parents really know about Maryland public schools? The latest round of state test scores does not tell the whole story about student outcomes.
And as Project Baltimore's Chris Papst reports, some are raising the alarm over what's in the data and what's not.
Right now, if you go to the Maryland State Department of Education's website, you can find the 2023 state test scores for every school in Maryland. Just posted last week. This is where parents and taxpayers can go to see how their public schools are doing. But if you take a closer look at this data, if you scroll through it, you'll find there's a lot you can't see.
It is being called a scandal and a cover-up.
Earlier this year, a Project Baltimore investigation sparked outrage, exposing how the Maryland State Department of Education changed the way it reports student test scores, further redacting much of the data.
It's hiding the truth from parents.
As a result, parents and taxpayers don't know how many schools are doing. But Project Baltimore does. These are the newest state test scores from spring 2023 for Baltimore City, provided by a source inside city schools. Last month, we reported on 13 high schools in Baltimore City where 0 students among those who took the state test scored proficient in math. That story shed light on a major problem. But the only reason we could do that story is because the source gave us the raw data before it was redacted by the state. In the version we obtained from the source, we can see how many students in those 13 high schools took the state math test and how many scored in each proficiency level. Under levels 3 and 4, it's all zeros, meaning not a single student scored proficient. But this is what the numbers look like on the state's website for those same schools. The results are gone. In levels 1 and 2, they're replaced with asterisks. In levels 3 and 4, all those zeros now say less than or equal to 5%. Looking at this, you would never know the full extent of the problem at these 13 schools. And this is potentially the case for hundreds of Maryland schools. There are at least 200 schools, according to the state data, where the percentage of students proficient in math is less than or equal to 5. 77,000 students took the state test in those roughly 200 schools. There's a chance that none of them are proficient in math. The raw data we have is only for Baltimore City. So parents and taxpayers will never know because the state will not tell you.
The state education department is instituting a cover-up of what's going on in public schools. Is that outrage?
For more than 10 years, MSDE redacted test scores one way. But earlier this year, the state enacted what is called enhanced de-identification, which expanded the redactions by replacing much of the test score data with asterisks, the state says, to protect student privacy.
I think it's absolutely absurd to use children and privacy.
Parents and taxpayers like Desmond Stinney, a Baltimore City father of 3, aren't buying that argument. Stinney believes if the test scores were better, the state wouldn't be hiding them.
I would imagine if it were reversed and 89% of folks were exceeding the expectations, we would probably have a lot more transparency and insight as to what's really happening.
Mr. Chaudhary. In April, when Project Baltimore tried to speak with State Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhary about enhanced de-identification,
removing test scores from the website,
he locked himself behind a door. In May, Chaudhary did agree to speak with us, saying Maryland was federally required to further redact the scores.
Was MSDE in violation of federal law prior to March with the way the data was being reported?
MSDE was not in violation of federal law.
Then why was the data changed?
Because we're applying, we have a new test, and we have shifting end sizes.
But the U.S. Department of Education's website clearly states under protecting student privacy that these decisions are left up to the individual state. In other words, Maryland is choosing to make less information available.
The public absolutely should see this data as long as we're paying for the school system.
State Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhry is resigning from his job. That is scheduled to happen on Friday. Since he's leaving, we asked the State Board of Education if it plans to reverse Chaudhry's decision and make more information available to the public about how schools are performing. If we hear back, we'll let you know. I'm Chris Pabst. Thanks for watching. Here's another story to watch. Also, if you have a story idea, please send us a message.